two individuals that were accessing one of our high-rise blocks. Clearly didn't belong there. They were tailgating people into the block. They weren't using fobs, or they weren't calling us for access. So we knew something wasn't right. We received a call from a tenant. He'd said that he hadn't seen his neighbour for a couple of days, that he was quite concerned. So that's not unusual for us to receive calls like that. So we would generally then place a welfare call to that resident and make sure they're okay. On this occasion, the tenant didn't answer his intercom. At that point, alarm bells were ringing. We sort of put two and two together and thought maybe that there's something going on at that address. So we've contacted the environmental protection officers and we've asked them to go and check the address for us.
My name is Rajesh Patel. I'm an environmental protection officer for Sandwell Council. On initial assessment, we visited the property and we was greeted by a woman in her 30s. Not what we was expecting, because the gentleman's quite elderly, in his 70s. She's alleged that she was his carer in an unofficial capacity. We identified the house in a state of disarray and mess, and the smell coming from it suggested that drugs had been taken, something which was not typical of this gentleman. We then asked him to physically come to the doorway so we could actually see how he was. We was greeted by a very skinny, skeletal gentleman, emaciated, very, very frail looking, who then said he was fine, I'm okay, these people are looking after me, which then we realised there's another gentleman in there, again in his 30s. None of them were family and none of them were carers or anything in any official capacity.
I was made aware of an email that was sent to me as part of an alert from my EPOs. They had concerns for an individual who was suspected of being exploited, and identified it as a cuckooing, a potential cuckooing and a serious danger to this individual. It was arranged for a social worker from the safeguarding team to then go and visit the property and to take the next steps to protect the gentleman.
We knock on the door. He opened, he let us into the property. He was a bit reluctant maybe to engage. Then when we went into the property, I had to reassess the situation. He looks frail to me, and they said, "Are you well? Do you need a doctor, or can we call an ambulance?" Food-wise, there was nothing. There was a few, I think, Weetabix. He didn't have any money with him. I said, "You know what, I don't feel it's okay for you to remain here. I think you need help."
We have such good systems in place with Sandwell Council. We have such a robust response to these things that helps with the preparation. Knowing that there is somebody you can call, that we're all working together, and knowing that we're all on the same page. And that really matters.
The fact that we've managed to get this tenant into a place of safety within 24 hours of receiving that first call, I think is excellent and does make me very proud to work here.
I think this example is a prime example of Sandwell coming together, and it's just safeguarding. It's what we do, and it's how safeguarding should work. All teams coming together, alerts coming from everywhere. My EPOs are the eyes and ears on the ground. We need to make sure we get it into the right hands, the experts, the social workers, the safeguarding teams, and it just shows it's a one council, one team approach, but albeit seamless.